Hi, I'm Margaret, and thank you so much for joining me here on the Gardening Me. This is part 2 of my Baker Creek seed haul. In part 1, I showed the perennial seeds that I purchased, and the video was running a little long, so I thought I would show all of the annuals and the few veg that I got in another video. So here we go. So now onto the annuals, and first up I have Ageratum, and this one is Red Flint. So the blooms are a unique shade, and on the Baker Creek website they describe them as a mix of boysenberry, jam, and plum. So they are very pretty, definitely. One of the interesting things about this particular variety as well is that it's a taller one, and it gets to be about 24 inches tall, which I think is pretty tall for an Ageratum. Next, we have something I have not grown before, and this is Amaranth. And I'm actually thinking that this may be my single seed challenge for this year. So we'll wait and see whether I decide on that or not. There is a lot to choose from this year. This Amaranth, it reaches about 4 to 6 feet tall, and it has deep red flowers, and apparently you can use that as a natural dye. So if you dye yarn or fabric or something like that. They say you can also use it as a natural food dye, so that's interesting as well. Next up are a couple of varieties of aster. Last year I grew asters for the first time. I loved it. They were so gorgeous. And of course, this year I've added a few more to the mix. This one is Giant Perfection Mix. And these are peony type extra large flowers that apparently are great for cutting. And you can see the mix of shades you get from yellows to whites, pinks, purples. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how big these large flowers are. And the other one I got is Matsumoto Red Striped. And this is a gorgeous magenta and white striped aster. From the photo, I can't actually tell whether the petals themselves have some sort of variegation on them or whether there are different petals that are different colors. So it gives that kind of look. So this variety was specifically selected by breeders in Japan for its merit as a cut flower, and it has strong 24 to 30 inch stems, and the blooms are about 2 inches across. Next up is Celosia, and I have 3 of these. Now I grew Celosia last year and it was a bust. I planted it in my border, and at the time there was no drip irrigation in the border, and we had a super hot summer that was also super dry, and a few of the things that I planted in that border just did not do well. And one of those things was the Celosia. So I am trying again this year. There is drip irrigation in there now. So what I might even do is plant a few in the border and a few in the raised beds and see how it goes. So here we go. We have Asian Garden. So this one got the All-America Selection Award back in 2017, and it was noted by the judges for being early blooming and having really good branching and a bushy habit, which would be perfect in the border. Now, Flamingo Pink has beautiful soft pink spikes. And this one gets to 24 to 40 inches, and it's perfect for putting in the borders as well as for cut flowers. And last but not least for the Celosia is Rainbow Sherbet. So this has a variety of colors on it. Let me just do a little bit of a close-up on this. So we have from chartreuse to pinks to purples. I see some apricot in there. On the website, it says that this is by far the most groovy Celosia they have. Yeah, I would agree with that. So these guys get 18 to 30 inches tall, and they are a good choice for landscaping, cut flowers, even containers. Next up is Coleus, and this is Colocha Sunset, and it is a gorgeous orange with a beautiful chartreusey edge on all of the leaves, and look at the ruffling on that. It's gorgeous. These plants are 12 inches tall, and they're compact and tidy, and they have a bushy habit. And it says that the foliage is reminiscent of tie-dye in a kaleidoscope of colors. Next, cosmos. I have a lot of cosmos already in my stash. I even have seeds that I saved from cosmos that I already grow. This one, though, really struck me as absolutely gorgeous. Now, I don't know exactly how to say the name. Xenia, maybe? But look at those gorgeous, gorgeous blooms. The pink is so beautiful. Looks like it ranges from like soft pinks to deeper pinks, but wow. Now, this particular variety won the Flora Select Novelty Award in 2018. It's specifically appreciated for its unique terracotta orange to pink color that changes in an almost sepia effect as the flowers mature over the season. Wow. Now I'm even more excited to grow these. And this is the other interesting thing about it that's exciting, is it is a short cosmos. It's only about 2 feet tall. So normally, you know, cosmos are in the 4 feet tall or even taller range. So this is pretty compact. So that would be perfect for closer to the front of the border. And it says that the bloom sizes are about 2.5 inches across. Next, dahlias. So I grew dahlias for the first time from seed last year, and it was so easy. I had so much fun. I saved a few of the tubers because even from seed, they actually do develop little tubers underground, and then you kind of pick which ones you want. The thing with growing dahlias from seed is you never know which colors you're going to get. And that's why when you look online, all of the dahlia seed varieties are mixes. You're not going to get a seed variety that's just one color. So what you do is you grow out a bunch of the seeds, and when you see one plant that has a color that you want to save, you'll actually go ahead and save the tuber from that plant. So this one looked really nice. This is called Dandy Improved, and I really like the dahlias that have the open faces like that. The pollinators really, really love them, and I also love the simplicity of them. I love the ball dahlias. I love the dinner plate dahlias. I love all of those as well, but I think my favorite, well, maybe in the top 2, definitely are these more simple forms. This variety as well is not one of those really tall dahlias. This one only gets to 2 feet tall. The blooms themselves are small. They're only about 2.5 to 3.5 inches, which, you know what, is fine with me. That means I'm not gonna have to worry about any staking or anything like that. They'll do just fine, or they should do just fine anyhow, without any added support. Now, if you live in a zones 8 or higher, then these guys would be perennial for you. But for us here in zone 5B, we will dig up the tubers, or the tubers for whichever ones we want to keep, and then just store them over the winter. Then we'll have them for the following year. I was really surprised at how easy it was to grow dahlias from seed. So if you haven't tried it, I would highly recommend. Next one, Gaillardia. So I have grown Gaillardia from seed numerous times, and Gaillardia actually comes in 2 kinds of types. You have the Gaillardia that is a perennial and the Gaillardia that is annual. Double Sunset here is an annual variety, and on the Baker Creek website, though, it does say that they self-seed readily. I'm not sure if they'll do that in my garden or not. I'm actually going to find out this year, because this is a variety I have grown in the past. Well, specifically, I grew it last year, and the flowers are so gorgeous. And I guess I ran out of seed, which is why I bought it again. And just to show you, the flowers have almost like the individual petals have this quill-like structure on them. It's so beautiful. So I don't know whether I'll be getting any seeds that have actually self-sown this year from that or not. I guess I'll wait and see. But just in case I don't, I'll have here my backup plan because these were absolutely gorgeous. And you can see from the packet, some of these are singles and some are doubles. You never know what you're going to get until you sow the seed. Next up is Gomphrena, and much like the Celosia that I talked about previously that didn't do well in my garden, the Gomphrena also did not do well in my garden. And again, I believe it was the first time I tried sowing it last year, and once again I sowed it in the beds, and with the heat and lack of water, they kind of just fizzled out. So I'm looking forward to trying them again. There are a lot of people out there that have had really great success with them. So fingers crossed that I'll have that kind of experience with these this year. So the variety I chose was Salmon Pastel. Now, I'm not sure why it's called Salmon Pastel, because when I look at these, they don't look salmon. They look pink, lavender, purplish. And even on the website, it says the little pink heads make an amazing pink tea that's popular in Asia. So I'm not sure where the salmon comes from, but anyhow, these get to be about 2 or 3 feet tall, and they're very low maintenance. They make for a great border if you can actually get them to grow properly, which, fingers crossed, that will be me this year. I have quite a few nasturtiums already in my stash, so I basically bought one that looked particularly intriguing, and its color is just to die for. It is such a beautiful mahogany red. So this is a compact plant. It only gets to be about 8 to 10 inches, and its blooms are held above the foliage. So you can just imagine when this plant, you have this beautiful little 8 to 10 inch ball, and all these gorgeous mahogany blooms are all held above the leaves. It's going to have some good impact. I'm thinking that this will probably be going in one of my window boxes. So next is Scabiosa. Once again, I have lots of varieties in my stash, but I couldn't pass up getting this one variety, Salmon Queen. It doesn't look salmon to me. It looks pink, and it looks like there are multiple shades of pink. I'm not really sure if those are pink shades that are within the same flower, so as the flower ages, it has different shades of pink on it, or whether different flowers have different shades on it. On the website, it does say that the color on this is between coral and salmon pink. So I guess we'll see what these actually turn out as when I grow them. Next is Snapdragon, and I have a couple of different varieties of Snapdragons here. First up is the Cherry Twist. So these, let me do a little bit of a close-up on these, are cherry red and a buttercream center. This one also won the Floral Select Award of Novelty because of that color combination. These are actually pretty short. They only reach 20 to 24 inches tall. And the next ones here are the Oriental Lanterns. The color on that is just so beautiful. It's a red with a yellow on it. This one is a super short variety. It only gets to be about 12 inches tall. So I'll have to see which of the borders this would look good in. I'm thinking I'll probably do a few like at the front of a raised bed probably, and then also a few in the border just to see how they do there. The great thing as well about them being so short for a border is I did plant some of the traditional ones last year along one of my borders. And because they were so tall, I had some wonky curving on some of them because I didn't use any type of support or anything like that. That won't happen with these, most likely, because they're so short. And last in the annuals bunch are 2 varieties of zinnias. I always get zinnias, no matter where I buy from. Zinnias are always in the cart, it seems, even though I literally have, I think, close to 19, 20 different varieties already. I can't help myself. These guys here are a variety called Tacky's Choice Mix. So it is a mix of different colors, and I love the cactus zinnias. And so I had to get this mix. And then this one here, I have grown most of the Queenie Lime series of zinnias. And this one though was new to me. This is, well, it's not Queenie Lime, number one, it's Queenie Lemon, and it's Queenie Lemon Peach. So this one was also tested by All America Selection judges, and apparently it got really good marks for its heat tolerance, its consistent colors, and its long season of blooming. And that's it. Those are the annuals. So now let's do some veg. As I said before, I didn't get a ton of vegetable seeds just because I have so much in my stash already, and I am planning on cutting back just a little bit in terms of what I grow. So I have a few things that I bought. Those are things that I basically couldn't resist. And we'll start off with this guy here. And I've never grown celery before, actually. One of the few veg that I've not grown before. And this one is called Chinese Pink. Now, the reviews online were a little bit mixed on this one. Some people said it was really bitter and stringy and that kind of thing, and other people said it was absolutely delicious. Now, celery is one of those trickier things to grow because so many variables can affect how well it grows and how delicious it is. So I thought the only way to see was to try this out for myself. And this one is a variety that on the website says it's an easy to grow variety. And it comes from northern China, and it is a great choice for beginner gardeners. Man, I don't know. Celery is probably last on the list in terms of vegetables I would suggest a beginner try. So that's particularly intriguing that they're saying this. So the next, how many? 3? Yeah, the next 3 are peppers. I love peppers, and I usually grow more sweet peppers than the hot and spicy ones. Just because for us, hot and spicy, although we love hot and spicy food, I find that a little goes a long way. So we really don't need a ton of spicy peppers, whereas sweet peppers, there's never seems to be enough. So 2 of these varieties, this guy and this guy, both of those are sweet peppers, and then we have a hot pepper here. So let's talk about this one first. This is habanada, and it is the world's first truly heatless habanero. And I'm not a habanero eater because I find that with those kind of peppers, the heat is so intense that you get no flavor. And when I'm eating peppers, even hot peppers, I like to taste the peppers. I don't like my mouth to be so on fire that I can't even taste what I'm eating. These are described as snacking peppers, and they're fruity and floral, basically like a habanero, but with 0 spice. So the next one here, also a sweet pepper, is Lycia. This one intrigued me because it said that it's believed to be the sweetest of all peppers with the thickest flesh that they've ever seen at Baker Creek. I mean, it's a beautiful looking pepper. It kind of has that little bit of a point with the round kind of top there. And it says it is intensely juicy as well. And the plants themselves are stocky and high yielding. And last but not least is the only hot pepper. I do have quite a few hot peppers in my stash, but I'm thinking this year I might only grow a couple, and this one will definitely be one of them. It was intriguing to me just because it looked so gorgeous. I mean, look at this. And the name, Sugar Rush Peach. So of course I'm wondering, is this going to taste like peaches? I don't think it tastes like peaches. It is peach colored. That's about it. So this is what Baker Creek has to say about this particular variety. It says it is packed with loads of super sweet tropical flavor, and the seeds bring a smoky, complex heat that when used together creates a wild flavor experience. And according to them, it's unparalleled in any pepper they have tried. Next is a cabbage. And this intrigued me because it's a flat cabbage. If you look at it, there's the stem, and the cabbage is sort of squished and long. I've actually grown several cone kind of cabbages. I don't know what it is, but I'm kind of drawn, I guess, to not your typical round cabbages. So I've grown the cones, And then this one, of course, stuck out. Now, the thing with this one, other than the fact that it's flat, it's also humongous. Some of these heads are 10 to 15 pounds. So that's a lot, but I'm willing to give it a go just for the novelty of it and see how it does. So the next guy here is rapini. And rapini's you either love it or hate it sort of vegetable. It is sort of bitter, but myself, I love rapini. So I wanted to give this one a try. One of the problems with rapini is you generally don't get a lot from a single seedling. You get like one tiny stem. You'll see when you go to the grocery store, you'll have a bunch of rapini, and one bunch of rapini is, I don't know, 30 stems or something like that. This one apparently is a high yielding rapini. It says that it yields more and larger heads than other varieties that they've trialed. Then we have this one, and the name intrigued me, bread and salt. And my thing when I saw this was I was wondering, hey, does that mean that this is the perfect tomato to put on a piece of bread sprinkled with some salt? Well, every tomato. Well, most tomatoes are good for that. This one is an heirloom from Russia, and what the name really refers to apparently is the traditional custom of offering special guests bread and salt, and it's a symbol of health and fortune. And the fruit for this is dense, it's meaty, and it's a beautiful slicing tomato, but it can also be used as a sauce tomato, which is something I'm always on the lookout for, because quite frankly, at the end of the season, I will toss all the tomatoes into the freezer and make sauce from them. This would probably be an indeterminate tomato, although it doesn't say so, but it does say to provide some good support, because those tomatoes, there are a lot of them on the vine and they can get pretty heavy. And then last but not least, we have a bunch of seeds, and these are actually the free seeds that I got because I did place several orders in with Baker Creek, and they always send you either 1 or 2 packages of seeds depending on how much you order. And so I received these guys with my orders. Now, I'll just quickly run through them. This is a lettuce Merlot. I've actually grown this particular lettuce in the past. It is pretty, but it's not a favorite. Like for me, in my climate where I am, I mean, it's an okay lettuce, but it's probably not something that I would go out and purchase specifically. Next is the Beta Alpha cucumber. They say this one is a very sweet cucumber, and it's usually picked small, and it doesn't need peeling as the skin is very tender. So I'm wondering if it gets too big, it might be a little seedy if you wait until it's like the size of a traditional kind of English style cucumber. It does apparently have high yields, so that's always a good thing. I might give this one a try this year. Next is Mizuna, and while I have grown Mizuna in the past, I've never grown ones like that with red stems on it. Now it says the red stems are actually a rich source of anthocyanin. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'll put that on the screen. And it's the same antioxidant that's present in blueberries. Next up is these carrots, and I'm always looking for good carrot varieties, and I've never tried these before. This is St. Valerie carrots. So the description says that it has an intense flavor with hints of ginger, so that's interesting, and an earthy sweetness. This is a French variety that apparently has been grown for a long time there. So I might try this one as well. It has nice long roots that reach about 10 to 12 inches long. And then the very last variety, and this is Japanese wasabi radish. And I know right now I'm not going to be growing this. This one I'll probably either give it to friends or bring it down to the Hort Society during our seed swap, one of those two. I don't like wasabi. On the website, it says that the unmistakable pungent flavor of wasabi can clear the sinuses and invigorate the palate. And it says that this daikon type radish packs a wallop of tingling wasabi heat. So if you're into wasabi, you know what? This would probably be something that would be great to try. You could use it instead of the paste, I'm assuming, kind of have a little bit on the side of your plate when you're having a bit of sushi. But for me, it's a no-go. So that is that. It is super exciting that seed starting season is basically here. I already have a few seeds tucked away in the fridge, getting their cold treatment before I sow them in a couple of months, I guess. There are a couple of things that I'm going to be sowing shortly, things that need an extra early start. I still have to actually go to William Dam. I usually go there in person to do my seed shopping. I actually called them a couple of weeks ago just to see if I could stop by, and of course I could stop by, but they said that they were not fully stocked yet. And they said that the beginning of February was the perfect time to go because they would more or less be fully stocked by that point. Although I already have so many seeds, I'm kind of like, should I really be buying more? But this is kind of a traditional thing. I always go to William Dam every year, at least once, often twice, and I just gotta go. And if you go, you can't just go and not get anything, right? And you can't just get one packet of seeds. Anyway, that's what I think anyway. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.